Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Family, propaganda is warfare. And in the age of social media, the weapons of warfare are plentiful and inexpensive. The reason why all your favorite social media platforms are free is because the product is the minds of the end user and the participants of these platforms. So you spend hours and hours and hours investing in your own indoctrination, so much so the things and the people which Allah very clearly hates, and I mean very clearly hate, you love. What do you mean, Bilal? When Allah has made clear who your enemy is, and the enemy of Allah himself has made clear who he is, then anyone who sides with them is also making it clear who they are. So in our time, there is no more ambiguity. There is no more nuance. There is no more, benefit of the doubt. If you take a side, you have clearly taken a side. And either you take the side of those who are fighting oppression, or you take the side of the oppressor. There's no more gray areas anymore. That's all done. It's done. In our time, is there any clearer enemy of Allah than the white supremacist? Is there any more clearer enemy of Allah than that? Those in the literal sense have taken up the mantle of Iblis himself, declaring the superiority of over all mankind, simply based on the way that Allah created them. But don't stop there. They claim, these white supremacists claim to be the gods of the earth, whether through ordering the worship of baby white Jesus, like the Christians and them, okay, or being the epitome of human perfection, like the atheists have force-fed all of humanity through the theory of evolution, correct? But don't stop there. Every dealing they have ever had, economically, politically, socially, religiously, scientifically, has been positioned to ensure their permanent dominance over the darker skinned people of the earth. But don't stop there, family. But every white supremacist has expressed, and I mean all of them, okay? They have expressed their disdain for Islam itself. All of them. And the only time they mention anything positive about Islam is only to drum up support for their internal alleged white supremacist civil war, which they have against European Jews. And these European Jews, they also claim to be God's children. Them too. They believe they can claim to be God's children, God's chosen people, all kind of stuff. You can't make this stuff up. So how is it that anyone could possibly be a supporter of Donald Trump and the new white supremacists, same as the old white supremacists, okay? The new white supremacists, same as the old white supremacists, and their fascist regime, and claim in the same breath, the same mouth, the same sentence, to be a believer in Allah and the last day, all at the same time. This is the very definition of impossibility. It's not a possibility at all. Y'all hearing me? The very first leader, world leader that is, that Donald Trump invited to the White House in his second term here, who was it, family? Somebody put it in the chat. Where my day ones at? Who was the very first alleged leader that Donald Trump invited to the White House? The first one, before he invited anybody. Do y'all know who it is? Who knows who it is? You guys are awake, right? Who knows who it is? The very first leader, world leader, that Donald Trump invited to the White House just happened to be Benjamin Netanyahu. Who was it? Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu, who has an arrest warrant out on him by the ICC. Mind you, we talked about the Muslims for Trump campaign several times on this channel. We talked about it before the election, we talked about during the election, and we talked about it after the election. Okay, we talked about it a lot. It's on the channel. But one of the things that we mentioned about the Muslims for Trump, that sector of MAGA, is that they expressed that they were going for Trump because, and I'm quoting here, he promises peace. That's what they said. It's on the channel, y'all. Okay. They said he promises peace. Remember that, family? Family, was his promise of peace the truth or a lie? Somebody put in the chat, please. Was his promise of peace the truth or a lie? Donald Trump, he invites Netanyahu, okay? Then he sends Israelis, not once, but twice. He only been a president since January, family. He already sent Israel in between January and now is May, right? $12 billion. The first time he sent it to $7 billion, the second time he sent $5 billion. But not only did he do this twice, he sidestepped Congress in order to do it. So he basically sent Netanyahu and the Zionists over there $12 billion worth of armaments. And who knows what else? Because that's all we know. Because he sidestepping Congress in order to do that. To bring peace for who? The Palestinians. These 12 billions of arms for Zionists are doing what? Bringing peace to Palestinians. That's what they're doing. During Donald Trump's meeting with Netanyahu, he said that the U.S. would, and I'm quoting here, take control of Gaza. That's a direct quote. And it would be, and I'm quoting, transformed into the Riviera of the Middle East. That's a quote. That's a direct quote. Okay? Its Palestinian inhabitants would be ejected to Jordan and Egypt. That's what he said. Remember, we had all kinds of questions at that time for allegedly Tom Fakini. Remember? It's on the channel, okay? That's what he said. He said all this live to the delight of Netanyahu and the full support of Zionists internationally, right? He said it while he was there in front of Benjamin Netanyahu. He said all this. All this he said. A month later, he walks it back because he's a liar, the liar that he is. He walks it back. He says in March that he doesn't want to eject Palestinians from Palestine and whatnot. Well, you know, all his lies. He lies. All he does is lie. But I digress. He then later walks it back in March, right? And then some rich desert Arabs give him a palace plane, and he goes up with a new plan. Send the Palestinians to Libya. That's his new plan, okay? Send the Palestinians to Libya. But that's neither here nor there. The question is all of this coming from someone who is truthful or a liar? Somebody put it in the chat, please. Anyways, family, in light of all this evidence, and there is so much more, okay, we don't have enough time to get into everything, okay? Donald Trump, who sent the U.S. military, all this happened in the same term, mind you, between January and now, okay? He sent the U.S. military to quell the Houthis from blockading Israeli supply vessels. Donald Trump, who unilaterally sent $12 billion of U.S. taxpayer-funded armaments to Israel. Donald Trump, who advised Netanyahu, who he can do whatever he wants to the Palestinians. Donald Trump, who is trying to impose the expulsion of native Palestinian population from their land. And we're trying not to get cut off here, okay? Because you know how these folks, they like to cut us off, but we're trying to be careful. But it's all this is in the news, right? Is this a pro-peace president or a pro-genocide president? Inquiring minds need to know. Furthermore, is there anything that Donald Trump says that can be trusted to be and believed to begin with? This man does nothing but lie. He is a lie. His essence is a lie. You know, we talked about this before, right? About the Bible, right? There's a verse in the Bible when Jesus is talking to the Jews, and they claim, just like the Jews of today, they claim to be the descendants of Abraham, right? And then Jesus tells them, if your father was Abraham, then you would love me. But rather, your father is the devil. He was a liar and a murderer in the beginning. You see, Donald Trump is exactly like that. But it's not just that he's a liar. He is the lie. His essence is the lie. When you look at his hair is a lie. That's not his hair, that's a lie. We look at his skin is a lie. That's not his skin, it's a lie. His suit is a lie. The weight on his scale is a lie. Everything about him is a lie. All of it. If he was outside today, live on camera, on a bright sunny day, and we can clearly see, judging by what has been shown on our screens, that it's apparently bright and sunny, and he said with his mouth, "Oh, what a bright and sunny day," I would still not believe him. I would not believe him until I verified it first, because his whole essence is a lie. He's a devil.
Paper gold. You see, black folks are chumps. If America were to tell you to bring all the rocks in this country to her, and she'll give you $1 million for it, you'll do it. And the next day she'll tell you we're using rocks for currencies, chump.